Solely PaRaDiSe Kabbalah writs stupidity large. Italics dedication to Claudia and Sochil, to Joey and Donnie, and to Bibi. Proposal of a state constitution for Mexico, the United States, and Israel Palestine. Italics starting point. Why is the world upside down? The world is upside down because we don't know how to put it back on its feet. And why is it broken? It's broken because we don't know how to put it together. Italics, be especially careful. Don't be blinded by the saying that, quote, the only absolute is that everything is relative. If they say to you again, fool, what do you know? Send them to fly a kite. Kabbalah means reception, referring to the teaching revealed to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Creator. This Kabbalah was later left by Moses as text, where it could not be missed by the sages. Well, it turns out that the sabists overlooked it or omitted it, and 3,000 years later, yours truly Ricardo rescued it, dusted it off, and made it go viral as PaRaDiSe Kabbalah. The National Project, italics. Now, addressing the National Project of Mexico for the 21st century. Will it be 3T asterisk neoliberal or will it be 4T socialist? That's the question. The neoliberal 3T asterisk is the right wing of the version 3T version, the 1917 Constitution. The social 4T is the left version of the 3T. None have a future beyond being endless recycled word games. Only the PaRaDiSe National Project has a future. With your permission, let's call it the fifth transformation or 5T to continue with the numerical sequence. Asterisk, the PaRaDiSe Constitution model. The trick is to start from the greatest point of view of the Kabbalah of Moses. But let's be clear, not from the great nor from the greater, but from the sole greatest point of view. Then, descending steps reach the level that concerns us regarding the political constitution of the state for the third millennium. Once there, we will unfold the newly found constitution into the five-power state. Here, we will include the new protagonists of the fourth power of the media and the fifth power of the university, respectively corresponding to the age of information and to the age of knowledge. Reading. If you didn't understand it the first time nor the second time, it's due to the abysmal education that's responsible for sealing you up like a well. So, as far as the theme of the Constitution is concerned, read chapters 2 and 13 of my book, The Sweet Spot on the Obvious All Revealing, Yet Hiding in Plain View. At Amazon, you can find it printed, audible, and digitally for only 99 cents, 89 cents euro. Also in Spanish and in 5 other languages, but without audible. Italics, who am I? I am neither a rabbi nor a scholar. Perhaps not being one nor the other was what allowed me to grasp the teaching of Moses. I am a science teacher, physicist, philosopher, and businessman. While it is true that we owe these sages where we are today, it is also thanks to these sageists that we are in the present predicament. Knowing too much puts you in a blind spot, and knowing too little ends you as loose ends. Italics, restarting. Shake off the bad words and lousy deformation you received in school. Restart from the universal principle of knowledge of PaRaDiSe Kabbalah of the whole and the triad parts of religion, philosophy, and science. In formula, Kabbalah S/religion D, philosophy R, science P. 1/3 good, 2/3 bad. Religion morality alone is 1/3 good and 2/3 bad. The same with philosophy, politics, and with science technology. In short, in isolation, they do twice as much harm than good, but in unison, in harmony as triad parts, they are entirely beneficial. In formula, creator S/creation DRP with spiritual D, mental R, physical P. Italics, have others show respect. Don't let the sophists of dualism disrespect you. They tell us to occupy ourselves with a futile mundane, waiting for the coming of the Messiah for the transcendent, that without a Savior we can only be happy as worms. But yours truly demonstrated that the Messiah is a text, regardless of whether he is a person or not. That the teaching of Moses is PaRaDiSe Kabbalah as found in Genesis 1:1a Aleph. That is to say, the Messiah is a text with lower m, and not necessarily Messiah a person with capital M. Or perhaps that the first is preconditioned for the second to occur. Who knows? Society. Let's unfold PaRaDiSe as creator S, creative creature / creation DRP with civilization D, constitution R, culture P. State italics. Now, in the second instance of the above unfolded formula, we iteratively in turn elevate the subtriad constitution R to the triad constitution SR, corresponding to a state with three powers, namely first power, legislative DR, second power, judicial RR, third power, executive PR. And now, in turn, in the third instance, let us elevate the subtriad judicial RR onto the triad judicial SRR. Now, this unfolds as a five-power state, with the fifth power university DRR, third power judicial RRR, fourth power media PRR. Briefly, const R to const SR, jude RR to jude SRR, with uni DRR, jude RR, meet PRR. Italics, PaRaDiSe Constitution. Now, the PaRaDiSe state will be composed of the people and the government. The government will consist of two powers, namely first power judicial and third power executive, and the people will consist of three powers, namely second power judicial, fourth power media, and fifth power university. Italics, the two new power protagonists. The news media as a fourth power corresponds to the age of information. The university as fifth power corresponds to the age of knowledge. The university will be in charge of managing the budget. The media will be in charge of monitoring the powers. The university refers to the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels of education. News media refers to all means of communication. Of course, the members of the Constituent Assembly would be in charge of the substance and details of the matter. Italics, Suffrage and Democracy. Citizen suffrage. Starting from the main formula above mentioned, we move on to the study of the person through culture P. We now convert it into culture SP / emotional DP, rational RP, motor PP. Democracy is understood as a triad of 3 votes per person and not a duocracy of 1 vote per person. Next comes child suffrage. Minors would have the right to vote through their parents. No consecutive re-election for any post. No longer falling for the stale trick of the useful vote to disqualify independent third parties. Italics, human creativity. Don't let the era of dualism turn you into a forked tongue, nor into a bipedal encyclopedia, nor let artificial intelligence AI plug you in. Don't let them domesticate nor dumb you down. We are born knowing, and courtesy of misguided education, end up ignorant, confused, and alienated. But our teachers are not to blame. They too were baked in the age of dualism, in the era of dualism of the last 3,000 years. From the heart they want to help, but with the mind they end up harming us. Italics, ReConstitution. In closing, the question is what to call this movement of the new era of PaRaDiSe. Given the topic of this video, I will call it ReConstitution, Fifth Transformation, or 5T. But not the recycled re-evolution anymore, revolution anymore, unless you say otherwise. Yours truly, thanks a lot, Ricardo.